So,
Hey.
where did we leave off last week? We left off with an ambush,
Oops.
Rontor trying to be diplomatic, Lia and
Finally be able
Draco,
to use one of my 17 languages.
Draco and Lia were not too fond of that idea, and ended up killing a bunch of guys. We begin with everyone in the forest as the battle has just ended.
So we're just sitting there like, shit, Rontor's gone. Where'd he go?
Tix turns to you and says, where did who go?
Rontor.
He
You
starts,
know, like, our friend.
starts turning around and like,
Yay.
oh, I thought it was just too short to see. I guess he's gone then.
Well, guess
I
we're a man
understand how
down.
it feels to be next.
Well, because he's dead, let's go back to the tavern.
Well, I mean, we should probably look for him, but we could also, do what we came here for. And he starts looking around at some of the bushes, trying to find the berry on the quest poster.
Oh yeah, we're here for berries.
And the flower. Don't forget the flower. Flower,
Oh,
very
yeah.
important.
Okay, Draco's gonna start looking for the flowers.
He likes flowers.
Like, he
Okay,
does like flowers.
investigation check. You've just come out of battle. There's blood in your eyes, and you've been stabbed. You're like half. You've lost a bit of blood. Your eyes are a bit. You're still like in the heat of battle, adrenaline. All you can see is green. Everything looks the same. It's just green everywhere. It's
Guys, everything's green.
What? Can I do like a check for like Rontor?
for
Or like clues for like anything?
Give me an investigation check. Again, it's the heat of battle. There is a lot of blood. Remember, you did just char a man to his death. Maybe two. I think you charred two men to their deaths. There is a corpse, flame grilled in front of you. You're still a bit shaken up. Shaken up. You're concerned for Draco's well-being and mental state. And,
All I see is green!
and indeed, all Lia sees is green.
Is-
After two very non-successful attempts, Tix will also look around for the berries. Unlike you two, sorry, he doesn't only see green. He sees green, and he also
Is it brown?
sees a little splash of blue from the river, and he also sees a little splash of red and a little splash of green. No, not green. That's already a color I said. A little splash of purple. The purple's over here, so he's gonna go to the one that's closest over here, and he's gonna look, and he's gonna be like, "Hey guys, I think there's something in the bush over here. Kinda, is this the what we're looking for? I don't know. I don't have the quest poster. I don't know what exactly we're looking for."
Alright, am I coming over? What's up, bro?
Oh, is this what we're looking for? I don't know. I never saw the quest poster. You guys just tagged along.
Can I whip out the quest poster?
Do you have it on you?
I'm assuming we all pick them up off the board.
It was a singular poster, and I do believe that Rontor was the one that showed it to the tribal people when they took it away, so you do not actually have the quest poster on you.
Curse that Rontor!
But if
Big in his eyes.
everyone except for Tix did lay eyes on it in the tavern, so you could try and search deep within your memory. 15, 20,
Oh.
yes, okay.
Yeah.
And you guys will remember this is the poster. So on the poster, it tells you need to find thornton berries and apple berries. So these two
And the
berries
red ivy flower.
and the red ivy flower, but I mean this bush has berries in it, not flowers.
Might be a
So-
flower berry.
So you guys, there would have been a picture accompanying them, and we'll say the thornton berries are sort of a red sort of maroon shade, and apple berries are like a bright pink.
Okay, what color are the
Back.
berries in the bush?
Okay, so the one you're at currently is a sort of a purple magenta. And yeah,
Ticks, I think these are the ones you should taste them to find out.
it says, I'm sorry, I'm not as stupid as you. Remember that time you got massive food poisoning from eating that bush? I'm sorry, but I'm gonna pass.
Maroon, we need maroon and pink berries. Not this purple shit. Are you trying to get us poisoned?
Well, and he says, well, I think that that's just like a picture on a piece of paper. You don't know if that's accurate color. I think this might be it.
Okay, then you can eat it, Tix,
Yeah.
and tell us.
Look, I don't care if these are the right berries or the wrong berries. We're getting this for an apothecary. They're gonna make like potions out of these. You don't know what effects they could have. Even if it was the right one. Doesn't mean it could be poison potions they're brewing.
That's why we need to pick the right berries.
So that way, if you're trying to poison someone, you make sure you do the job
Yeah,
properly.
if
Well,
you
if
actually
it's-
pick heal berries, you don't want to like
Well, if it
go
doesn't...
like an assassin to assassinate a king and accidentally kill him.
Surely someone here has some sort of experience with nature stuff.
Let me check.
Draco takes a berry and puts it up to his mouth.
No, that's not what I meant. That was a very, very clear hint, nudge, nudge to
If
just
you're
do a
not gonna taste the
It was-
berry,
It was
then
a
I will taste the berry. I ate the berry.
con save.
Okay. That wasn't a save, actually. 16.
Berry's a berry. Could be.
It's a berry.
Roll me a d4. So Draco, he eats the berry, and at first tastes kind of like a blueberry. Just goes down. Seems. Well, firstly, how many did you eat? Did you just eat one?
Just one.
Okay. You eat it, and then a few seconds after it goes down, your mouth just becomes terribly bitter, like it's a terrible aftertaste. And then, in just an instant, it switches from being the most bitter thing you've ever tasted to being incredibly sweet, like honey. And you enjoy that for a few seconds, and then it immediately turns back to bitterness. But it's only bitter for a moment because it turns to incredibly hot spice. And then it turns into every flavor you've ever tasted all at once. And it's just overpowering your mouth, and it's making you start to vomit. And your mouth starts foaming as everything you had eaten in the previous few days just starts coming out, and you just vomit all over the floor. And you're just vomiting. But while you're vomiting, you both feel a sensation of being super refreshed and relieved, as well as being in pain at the same time. And you start vomiting, and as you vomit, you gain 1 HP.
What?
But as you
Just one more.
feel refreshed and you gain that 1 HP, at the same time it starts to really upset like your mouth and your throat, and you just feel terribly sick while also relieved, and it's the most weird sensation Draco's ever felt. There's nothing you could compare it to. And as he finishes vomiting, you stretch back up to your full size after you've bent over vomiting. You've regained 1 health. You try to move or whatever, you try to turn, but suddenly you feel like you have no control and you are paralyzed. Okay, you're paralyzed. And Tix quickly rushes over and sees you slumped down, unable to speak and incapacitated, and just slaps you on the face, says, "You idiot." And he like rolls you out of the mud so that you're face up, so you're not just drowning in mud. We'll just say that that lay on hands works. So he will expend his last 5 lay on hand, like his last 5 points, and he will cure Tass of his paralysis. You are now cured of your paralysis, but I will say you are still like tired and on the ground, and you won't be able to get up for like a minute or so. He uses his knowledge of the woods and sees that it is indeed the right berry. And he picks it up, and the bush is full of them, so he starts picking them, and you guys now have your 15 Thornton berries.
Yay, from the floor.
We should just do the nature check to begin with, but
Okay.
you know.
And Tix walks over to the other berries he saw over here. He will do another nature check to see if they are the same one. He's unsure. He says, I don't know if these are the right berries.
Don't worry, I got you, fam. I pick up a berry, and I look at it.
I wanna check as
Okay.
well.
Nope.
Your collective idiots, the collective idiot selves, just merely managed to scrape a few nature points together to be like, this might be it. It's probably it. We don't know though.
Let's find out.
Please don't put it in your mouth. You're gonna have to figure out another way.
Can I look at the color of the berry?
It is, maroon.
Can
Not
we
maroon.
compare the berries from the other one to this one?
They are completely different berries. One is pink, one is maroon.
Oh.
Are you talking about the? Oh yeah, are you talking about the berry like you just picked up, or the berries on the paper?
The berries we just picked up to the ones
Yeah,
in the
they're
bush
completely
right now.
different.
Oh.
The quest said maroon berries, so this might be it.
Yeah,
What? I'm gonna go and check a different bush to see what color these berries are.
There are some sort of things in the bush that you cannot, that you do not know what they are. They are like a pale blue.
Okay, not it. What about this bush?
There are no berries in that bush.
Are there any other bushes with berries around here?
Give me a perception. There is berries that are the same shade of maroon, but they're like twice to thrice the size of the original ones. The first bush is like the size of, like strawberry, in between blueberries and strawberries. And then the new bush that you've just found is like golf balls.
If we get 10 of both of them, then one of them's got to be right.
Yeah. That's a good idea, actually.
Okay, you want to do that?
Yeah. Okay,
Okay.
I'll pick 10 of these. Can I go back to this bush and grab a few of these berries?
The ones that made you paralyzed?
Yeah.
Yes, you can grab a few of
How
those.
many are there left?
There are 2 more berries in the bush.
Now we've just got the flower to find, right?
Yep, and also a rogue gnome.
I'll check for flowers as well.
Okay, investigation, nice. You see no flowers, but what you do see, over on this side of the clearing, you can see after, like over here, where this is, this like side here, it looks kind of like an opening, like where it would go off into a path, but really, there's trees on either side, and in the center, there is like these really tall grass that sort of leads off into the forest that you can't really like go through. But right in the center of it, on that side, is a sort of path that's been carved through the grass, like it's been cut open with a machete or something, and it leads off into the forest.
Is that where Rontor went?
I don't know, is it?
God damn it.
You find anything, Leah?
I found the path, didn't I?
Follow the yellow brick road.
Okay, and we're off. When you left, there was still 8 other tribal people and your friends, so, you don't know anything of the bloodbath that occurred behind you. You march for about an hour. The sun is sort of getting a bit low, it's getting a bit dark, and eventually you come out of the forest. The just grassy paths make way for cobbled stones, and eventually you find your way to this building. It's very large, 1 story only, but it's made out of logs. It looks very fancy. It's much bigger than the old man's house, much bigger than anything that you would find in Argon, and definitely much bigger than a building you would find in Aganon. And it looks like a sort of a private mansion. Now, these tribal warriors, give me an insight check, nice. You can definitely tell something's up. The past 15 minutes as you were getting closer, once you got onto the stone pathway, they were weird. Like the whole time they were pretty settled. After you talked to them, they were pretty nice. Like they weren't rude to you, they weren't pushing you along, they weren't taking you as a prisoner, they were taking you as an equal. And they, you walked together, you had a few bit of conversation, but as you got here, you could tell their body language changed. They were a bit frightened, maybe a bit scared. They were wary, they were very cautious, and they knew something was up. So they were very not pleased with coming here. Right? As you start to come closer at about this distance, you realize that there are people in front of the doors, guarding the doors. And they are very wary, and as you get closer, you realize the people at front of the door aren't tribal warriors. In fact, they're nothing like them. They are guards in full armor, and they've got spears, and they're guarding the door. And as you get closer, they say, "Halt! Who goes there?" The guy at the bottom, he quickly puts his spear out in front of you to stop you from walking forward. The guy above, he steps forward very tentatively, very cautiously, and he goes here, and he talks a bit softly, but you can still barely hear it. And he speaks in a very, very broken Elven, like as if he doesn't know it, and he's just sort of learned a few words. And he says, "Fighter, Forest, wants to see the king."
Well, he took later a bit too literally then, didn't he?
And the guard, he says, all right then, go back there, and he walks over here, and this guard will quickly open the door and go in and disappear for a few seconds. The guy comes back out, and he talks to this guy for a second, and while he's talking to this guy, this first tribalman, he comes back to you, and he taps you on the shoulder, and as the other guy is in front of you, so blocking their line of sight, and he passes you a little piece of parchment. It was the same parchment that you had given him. That was the poster, but sometime along the way, he had found time to do something to it. But before you can check it, he puts it in your pocket, and before you can check it, the guards yell at this guy to walk aside, and he calls you forward towards him. This bottom guard, he will look at you and he'll just look at you, and then this top guard will stab his spear on the ground, like tap it and like tell them to like run off and shoot, and they run off. Now, this bottom guy starts searching you, and he says, "If you want to go inside, you must surrender your weapons here."
I'll hand over my short sword and my short bow.
Okay, he takes it and hands it to the other guard. And give me a stealth. Oh, you get to keep your little dagger. It's hidden away. He pats you down, but he's leaning over to pat you down because you're so tiny. And he says, "Alright, we'll go along." And he pushes the door open a bit, and you can walk inside. Okay, so as you walk through, there are two more guards on either side of the door, holding it, and this guy will say, "Come with me." This guy will say, "Come with me." He will open the door for you, and you can enter in. You enter into what looks like a throne room of sorts. It's sort of small, but the walls are decorated with plants. There's tables. There are two guards on either side of the door that you just entered, and a few commoners or servants cleaning up tables, delivering food, drinks, that sort of thing. But at the front of the throne room or whatever, there are two thrones. They're made out of like wooden, they're made out of like tree trunks, right? And one of them sat on the chair is a guy in golden plated armor and a gold crown on his head. Beside him is what looks like a senior guard of some type, maybe a captain of the guard. He's got bronze armor and a purple cape. And then on the right side of him, there is a guy in robes that has like a white grizzly beard. And they looked like the guard they looked like they were all sort of like deep in conversation, like as if they had just had a meal. The servants were all packing up, and as the servants see you enter, they will quickly hurry away as they've learnt not to intervene with business and whatnot. So they all just leave. I'll just turn them into a layer. They all leave, and you're left in the room with the two guards. The king looks up for a second, sees you there, seems a bit confused, but then goes back to just nomming on a little turkey leg. And the guard, though, he turns around to you as well as the robed guy, and they both look at you. The robed guy looks very suspicious, and the guard steps forward a bit and says, and he sort of steps in front of the king, and he says, "Who are you? Why are you here? This is the king's chamber. How dare you step in here without being invited?"
I apologize if I've caused any offense, but I thought I was invited in here.
Who invited you? There is no appointment for the king. We are on important business. How dare you interrupt?
A bit of a long story, but my party was looking for some berries when we came across a group of tribesmen, and they took me here.
The king scoffs to himself, says, "Those stupid tribespeople. They can't do anything for themselves. I was bringing pathetic little adventurers and whatnot here. They don't know anything but to kill or to be friends. What is this?" And he goes back to eating and talking to the guy in the robe as the guard goes, Who are you?"
I'm
Hear that?
Rontor of the Argon Expeditionary Force.
Okay. He says, "Rontor? What is this Argon Expeditionary Force?"
We're a small town, not too far from here, but just there's me and there's a couple of my friends who aren't here at the moment, who just formed this small force who mainly protect the villages of Argon.
But when you mention friends and a force, he pipes on. He gets a bit agitated, and he yells something in a dialect of Elven that you can't quite understand, or he sort of just yells something at the guard, something about defense, and then this guy runs out, and there's a bit of commotion, and they start shoring up the defenses just in case, thinking there might be something up to, Anyway, so then
There's no need to worry, they're ages away. They didn't come with me.
then he says, "What do you want? Why are you here?"
As I said before, I was just looking for a flower. Oh,
"Why are you trespassing on the king's soil? We are
I was led here by the tribesmen, and then now your guards.
With the mention of a flower, the guy in the robe pipes up a bit. He looks over. Before he was uninterested as the guard was taking care of it, but he walks over and he says, "What flower is it that you seek?" And
a red ivy flower.
and his eyes light up and says, "Red ivy, you say?" He says, "What is that you need this for?"
There's someone looking for one at a local town.
Yeah, he says, "Come with me." He walks out. Yeah, so as you enter the room, you can see it's a workshop of some type. There are maps on a table. It's well lit. There's a few sort of components and things on benches, things that radiate a slight magical aura. It looks like this is the kingdom, like the king's personal sorcerer or some type or something, some sort of mage. And he walks over to the wall and he grabs a book off the shelf and he opens it, and it's on the front. It has the engraving of a flower, and it's in a text similar to Elven, but not one that you quite have ever seen before. But you can sort of make it out, and it says something about botanical, something about botany. And
Well, just as I'm assuming he's gonna start flipping through the book.
Yeah.
But while he does that, I just quickly pull the piece of parchment out of my pocket and have a quick glance at it to see
Okay.
what
As he's doing that, he's searching through these. He's flipping books. He's got his full intent in there. Give me a sleight of hand to make sure you don't disturb him and he doesn't see it. He doesn't suspect a thing. This is what you see.
screen clearing. Take note of that and please slip it back in my pocket.
Okay. And now the wizard, he turns around just as you put it back in your pocket, and he has the tome, and it's open up to a page. And on the page, it has a picture very similar to the picture on the quest poster. It's a red flower with a yellow center, and it's very luscious petals. I don't know how to describe a flower. It's a flower. And
Flower looks like a flower.
there is about 2 whole pages full text on this flower. It's just going into, the biology of it, but there is a paragraph talking about magical properties. And he shows it to you, and it says, is this what it is you're looking for?
I believe so.
It says, okay, good, come with me, I have a proposition for you. And as you guys walk into the room, you can see that the guard, this guy has come back to the king, and the king has donned, before he was like, maybe he didn't have all his armor on, he was eating and stuff, but now he's donned all his armor on, and it looks like they're about to go to battle or something. They look like they're kitted up, and this guy says, Alistor, what are you doing? And he says, and the king says back to him, he says, don't worry, we are just going hunting. I've sat in the throne too long. I need to feel the kill of something. I need to see the blood on my blade. And he starts to walk out with this guard, and and then the robed guy says, just wait, give me a minute. I need to talk to you. And he says, we're about to go hunting. Can this not wait? And then the mage goes back to him and says, no, and he walks over to him, and he starts whispering something in his ear, and then the king doesn't seem very interested, but, he'll believe his mage. That his mage seems very excited about it, and the king's like, yeah, whatever, I approve, just do it. And this guy comes over here, and he talks to you and says, this flower, it's very important. Whatever this quest of yours is that they've given you, I will give you double it, just for you, if you can get this flower for me. I know where it is. It's dangerous, but I need you to do this.
I agree.
So you agree. He says, good. You said you had friends. Where are they? And how many are there?
There are 3 of them, but I don't know where they are.
Okay, well, I need you to go and find them. You must collect your group. He says, come back in 4 days' time. Tomorrow there is a full moon, so we will be out. But come back in 4 days' time, and I will be ready for you. Come with your group. And then he turns and opens the door for you to leave. And he says, come back in 4 days' time. Make sure you come back in 4 days' time. And as you're leaving, you turn around one last time to as he's closing the door on you, and it's about to turn back to his king. You can see through the gap the king and the guard, as they're getting ready to go hunting. The king has now put on all his armor. He's got his nice golden plate, and he puts on his helmet. And on the top of the helmet, it is shaped similar to a rhino's horn. There is a giant golden horn, and then he closes the door, and you are escorted outside of the premises. Yes, this guy at the door will give you back your short bow and your short sword. So we can take our first break here.
The break with it.